Hello class, I welcome you all to this session. This session we are going to learn a new chapter, chapter 6, accounting procedures and the rules of debit and credit. So this chapter seems very important. You may think that ma'am, you have completed first chapter but you're jumping to chapter 6. But what is the real my motto is that you need to understand accounting well. So there is no point of learning the theory without understanding how you are going to actually practice it. So first we will try to practice it based on the rules of debit and credit, and then we will try to understand how the theory works. Okay, so first let me teach you the rules of debit and credit. Before teaching the rules of debit and credit, I would like to first throw light upon a term called account. Now, this account. So, what you are seeing here is a pictorial representation of an account. So, this is how an account looks like. Okay, so we are going to use this format very often everywhere. Literally everywhere we are going to use this format. So, make sure that you draw in your classwork. Pause the video. You can take down this columns and this format. So basically every account will have a name. I am giving this account a name called as cash account. Okay, so the name of the account is very important, and you have to name this account as debit and credit. Debit is always in the left side. I told you, you place your left hand, it will be left side. You place your right hand, it will be in the right side. So this is in the right. Okay, is it always like this? Yes, it is always like this. Your left side of the account is the debit and your right side of the account is the credit. So you have to write the format here. Always it is date, particulars and rupees. Date, particulars, rupees. So this is how you're going to write. This is the format of the account. So now what is date? We are going to record it in a chronological way. That is chronological means first entry will be first. Suppose for example you have July, today's date may be 20. Okay, so July 20 you are having a transaction. You will write the transaction, what is the transaction here, and you will write the amount here. Okay, and if suppose for example in July 31 you have another transaction, you write the transaction here, date here. So it is always a chronological. So suppose you have July 1, July 15. So you have this kind of transactions here, you write it. This is just an example. And by the way, cash account is a real account. Now cash is a real account. Why it is a real account? It is a tangible asset. Okay, it is a tangible asset. That's why it is a real account. So real account, you have debit, what comes in, credit, what goes out. So this is what you're going to write. So debit is always what comes in and credit what always goes out. So this in and out should be common. So when cash is flowing in, you write it in the debit side. When cash is flowing out of your pocket, then you write it in the credit side. So it is otherwise called as receipts will be written in the debit side, payments will be written in the credit side. So in and out, and then you have the other approach. Every account has we have to learn about classification of. So second, what we are going to learn today. So all these basics will be, you're going to use it. You're going to prepare various accounts. So I can just show some example in your textbook. What are the various accounts that you're going to prepare or something. So can you see this? This is one example. It is a cash book statement of affairs. You have here, this is some random example I'm just going to show. I'm just showing you. So you have the particulars, you have rupees, particulars rupees. If date is not given, we are not going to include the date. So this is the creditors account that we are preparing. Okay, so date is not given, so we are not entering. So basically this is the debit and this is your credit. I'm sure that you're able to understand what we are going to learn. Okay, the next what we are going to learn is the classification of accounts. As you can see, I have written classification of accounts. Accounts can be classified into two approaches. There are two ways to two approaches. Okay, first one is your traditional approach. The other one is modern approach. Traditional approach is otherwise called as English approach. Modern approach is otherwise called as accounting equation approach or American approach. Okay, so traditional approach, or English approach, modern approach, accounting equation approach, or American approach. So traditional approach can be divided as, traditional approach can be further classified. So you have basic classification of accounts here, as we have already studied. It is personal and impersonal. Personal account can be natural, artificial, representative. So natural, artificial, representative, please don't mind if it is not clear. We are going to discuss anyways these things in a detailed manner. Okay, so impersonal accounts can be real account and nominal account. So we have already studied the rules for this personal account, real account and nominal account. So we are going to learn in depth what does it all mean. So I'm just going to use this space. Modern approach I'm going to come to little later. First we will study the traditional approach, do one problem related to traditional approach, and then move on to modern approach. So basically, personal account can be classified into, number one, natural personal account. Now natural personal account are basically human beings, okay, who are created by God. So human beings, basically, say for example, Ram account, Meghana account, Sanjana account, or Rajesh account. So these are all natural human beings. They are all created by God. They are not artificially created. So this account is basically fully natural. So personal account, we know the rule: debit the receiver, credit the giver. So this is the rule. Then the second account after natural personal account is artificial personal account. They are artificially created. Don't think that it's robo or things like that. Artificial personal account are basically those accounts that involve corporate bodies. Say for example, Reliance Limited, okay, Industries Limited. I'm just including Reliance Industries Limited, Tata Limited, or SBI Bank, okay, or some sort of other cooperative society. Any cooperative society which is artificially, basically they are all created by law, okay, they are all artificially created by law. They are all not natural persons. So those personal account are also called as personal account, but they are called as artificial personal account. Now the third category comes as representative personal account. Now representative personal account are those represents a certain people, that is person, or a group of persons, okay. So basically for example, it is outstanding salaries. Now anyways the company has to pay salaries to its employees, but if it is not paid, then you call it as outstanding salaries pending to be paid, okay. So pending to be paid, in accounting terms it is called as outstanding. So when there is outstanding salary pending to be paid, it is called. So this is a representative. You represent a group of employees to whom salary is outstanding. I hope that this is clear. One more example can be prepaid rent. Now what is prepaid? Prepaid is nothing but paying for expenses in advance. Paying for expenses in advance without enjoying the benefit during payment. Okay, this is just a rough idea of what is prepaid. You may have some prepaid done for your mobile, recharges done for your mobile. So that is called as, so paying for expenses in advance without enjoying the benefits during its payment. So this is called as what? Representative personal account. Now one trick I'll tell you. If you can see that salaries, rent, all these things are nominal. Nominal account is nothing but all expenses you and losses you debit, all income and gain you credit. This is what nominal account says. If there is any word that is been added in front of this or at the back, then it is called as representative personal account. So if you want, you can just take it as a note. If you can write it here, so just take it as a note. If a prefix or suffix, So if you do not know what is prefix and suffix, if it is in this word, the prefix is outstanding. Okay, the prefix here is prepay, like which you may also have some suffixes, like after this word you may have some words. Say for example, rent prepaid, like this. If it is given as then it is called as suffix. So இந்த வேர்டுக்கு முன்னாடி இருந்ததுன்னா அது ப்ரிஃபிக்ஸ், இந்த வேர்டுக்கு பின்னாடி இருந்ததுன்னா அது சஃபிக்ஸ். ஓகே, ஸோ இது எங்கே வேணால் வந்து யூ கேன் ஆட். ஸோ ப்ரிஃபிக்ஸ் ஆர் சஃபிக்ஸ் is added to a nominal account. It becomes a representative personal account. So I'm sure that you're able to get this. So this note is very, very important. Okay, so this is all about personal account. So now we have to discuss what is the real and nominal account. So personal account is being classified into natural personal account, artificial personal account, and a representative personal account. We also learned a trick. If there is any prefix or suffix, the same word can be the suffix. Salary is outstanding, can also outstanding salary can also be stated as salary is outstanding. So in that case, then in the besides before the nominal account or after the nominal account, there's some words that has been added, then automatically it turns out to be a representative personal account. Now what is real account? Real account is nothing but those account related with tangible or intangible assets that excluding debtors. Okay, so what do you mean by tangible? Tangible means you can literally see, touch those assets. Okay, you can literally see and touch those assets. So land and building, machinery, you have stock, cash, you have investments. These are all examples for tangible assets. Now what is intangible? You cannot touch or see but can be felt. So you cannot touch or see but can be felt. Say for example, goodwill. What is goodwill? Goodwill is nothing but the good name of business that is built over a period of time. It's one word. If you want to say it, it is a reputation of a particular business. Goodwill, patent, trademarks, these are all examples of intangible assets. So so patent is nothing but you have a particular method, you get it, registered, and that can be used only by those registered. Okay, trademark is generally a symbol used for a particular brand. Okay, for Nike you have this, right? For Puma you have a symbol. For Adidas you have a trademark. So that's called as trademark. So these are all examples of intangible assets. Now real account is all about tangible and intangible asset except debtors. Debtors is a Debtors. Debtors is a personal account. Okay, so we will be learning about personal account when we are doing a sum, but now as of now real account includes all the assets except debtors. So the next one what we are going to learn is nominal account. Nominal account is nothing but all revenue and expenses. Revenue can be otherwise called as income, or it can be called as gain. Okay, so all revenue, income, gain should be credited. All expenses, losses should be debited. Okay, so this is what we are going to understand. So revenue, income and gain credited, expenses and losses debited. Now for example, rent paid. Now this is an expenses. So rent is a expenses. Salaries paid. Salaries is a expenses. Interest income received. Now interest is a income, so obviously it is credited. Now expenses is debited. So this is what we are going to learn. Okay, so the basic understanding about all these things is a must for you. Okay, some of I told you that I will be telling some of examples of personal account. Some of the examples of personal account can be debtors, creditors, capital account, drawings account. All these things are examples of personal account. Okay, so next video we are going to learn the problems, that is we are going to solve the problems using this concept. Okay, so it's very important that you view this video before you go to the next one. Thank you, class.